Chapter 17. Active and Passive Voice. These two words, active and passive, reflect somehow the same meaning. Active shows activeness or doer of action, and passive shows passiveness or the receiver of the action. Now compare these two sentences. I read a book. A book is read by me. When we compare these two sentences for meaning, they have the same meaning, but the system has been changed. In sentence 1, the subject I is the doer of the action. That is, the subject is active. The verb read is therefore said to be the active voice. In sentence 2, the subject book is receiver of the action. That is, the subject is not active but passive. The verb is read is therefore said to be in the passive voice. Active voice, when the subject is the doer of action, or it can be said that the subject is active of the verb, it is called the active voice. Passive voice, when the person or thing denoted by the subject is the receiver, or the person or subject is passive or acted upon, that is called the passive voice. Some important changes when the active voice is changed into passive voice. Subject is changed into object and object is changed into subject. Subject of the active voice becomes the object of the passive voice, and object of the active voice becomes the subject of the passive voice. By is used before the object of the passive voice. Change of verb. We have four parts of each tense: present, past and future. Remember, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous and future perfect continuous, including future continuous tense, cannot be changed into passive voice. The passive voice is formed with suitable tense of the verb be followed by the past participles. Study the following table. Tense, active voice, passive voice. Present indefinite. Give, gives. Is, am, are given. Present continuous. Is, am, are giving. Is, am or are plus being plus given. Present perfect. Has, have given. Has, have plus been plus given. Past indefinite. Gave, was, were given. Past continuous. Was, were giving. Was, were plus being plus given. Past perfect. Had given, had plus been plus given. Future indefinite. Will or shall give, will, shall plus be plus given. Future perfect. Will, shall plus have plus given. Will, shall plus have been plus given. In case of can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might and must be is placed before the third form of the verb. Changing the modals. Modals, active voice, passive voice. Can give, can be given. Could give, could be given. Will give, will be given. Would give, would be given. Shall give, shall be given. Should give, should be given. May give, may be given. Might give, might be given. Must give, must be given. Remember, while changing the imperative sentence, we must see the sense of the sentence and put the verb according to that sense. But in some sentences, we use let in the beginning, then object followed by be and third form of the verb. Interchanging the active and passive voices, tense-wise. Note the change from the active voice to the passive voice in the following sentences. Present indefinite tense. Active voice, passive voice. He collects papers. Papers are collected by him. She reads a book. A book is read by her. The peon rings the bell. The bell is rung by peon. Children love animals. Animals are loved by children. Does she write a letter? Is a letter written by her? The grocer sells sugar. Sugar sold by the grocer. Cats catch mice. Mice are caught by cats. Present continuous tense. Active voice, passive voice. He is reading a book. A book is being read by him. I am reading this book. This book is being read by me. They are helping the beggars. The beggars are being helped by them. Are they plucking the flowers? Are the flowers are being plucked by them? They are picking some flowers. Some flowers are being picked by them. Present perfect tense. Active voice, passive voice. I have finished my work. My work has been finished by me. He has done his job. His job has been done by him. They have solved the problem. The problem has been solved by them. The teacher has taught me. I have been taught by the teacher. Have they sold all the books? Have all the books been sold by them? Past indefinite tense. Active voice, passive voice. I solved all the questions. All the questions were solved by me. He wrote this letter. This letter was written by him. She loved her sister. Her sister was loved by her. They broke the system. The system was broken by them. Did you buy this book? Was this book bought by you? Past continuous tense. Active voice, passive voice. The gardener was watering the plants. The plants were being watered by the gardener. The farmers were sowing the seeds. The seeds were being sown by the farmers. I was reading a book. A book was being read by me. Was she teaching her sister? Was her sister being taught by her? Were they pulling a cart? Was a cart being pulled by them? Past perfect tense. Active voice, passive voice. He has finished his work. His work had been finished by him. She had done her job. Her job had been done by her. Had they caught the snake? Had the snake been caught by them? Vipin had kicked the ball. The ball had been kicked by Vipin. The boys had eaten all the cakes before the party began. All the cakes had been eaten by the boys before the party began. Future indefinite tense. Active voice, passive voice. He will read a book. A book will be read by him. She will catch a fish. A fish will be caught by her. Will you reply a question? Will a question be replied by you? Shall we help her? Will she be helped by us? I shall write a letter. A letter will be written by me. Future perfect tense. Active voice, passive voice. You will have solved the questions. The questions will have been solved by you. He will have written this essay. This essay will have been written by him. They will have seen his father. His father will have been seen by them. I shall have painted the wall. The wall will have been painted by me. Army will have pushed the enemy. The enemy will have been pushed by army. Memory chart of the verbs. Helping and main verbs in passive voice. Tense, indefinite, continuous, perfect, Perfect continuous. Present tense. Is or am or are plus third form of the verb. Is or am or are plus being plus third form of the verb. Has or have plus been plus third form of the verb. No change. Past tense. Was or were plus third form of the verb. Was or were plus being plus third form of the verb. Had been plus third form of the verb. No change. Future tense. Will or shall plus be plus third form of the verb. No change. Will or shall plus have been third form of the verb. No change. Two objects of the verb. When the sentence has two objects. When the verb has two objects in the active voice, one of the objects becomes the subject in the passive voice and the other is retained as the object. The direct object of the active voice. Active voice, passive voice. I forgave him for his fault. He was forgiven by me for his fault. You gave me a rupee. I was given a rupee by you. Nitin teaches us English. We are taught English by Nitin. He told me a story. I was told a story by him. The indirect object of the active voice. Active voice, passive voice. I forgave him for his fault. For his fault he was forgiven by me. You gave me a rupee. A rupee was given to me by you. Nitin teaches us English. English is taught by us by Nitin. He told me a story. A story was told to me by him. Use of prepositions. Some intransitive verbs with prepositions used as transitive verbs have passive voice. Active voice, passive voice. He laughed at me. I was laughed at by him. They agreed to my proposal. My proposal was agreed by them. You acted upon my advice. My advice was acted upon by you. Imperative sentences. An imperative sentence in passive voice begins with let. The form of the verb is let plus be plus past participle. Active voice, passive voice. Help the needy. Let the needy be helped. Shut the window. Let the window be shut. Let me purchase a table. Let a table be purchased by me. Do not hate others. Let others not be hated by you. Passive voice without by. Active voice, passive voice. They elected him Prime Minister. He was elected Prime Minister. He named his son Vipin. His son was named Vipin. The people proclaimed him king. He was proclaimed king. Interrogative sentences. If a modal auxiliary is used in the active voice, the form of the verb in the passive voice will be modal auxiliary plus a form of be plus past participle of the verb plus question mark. Active voice, passive voice. Why should you raise this question? Why should this question be raised? Why should I cut these apples? Why should these apples be cut? If the question begins with a question word, what, why, who, whom, how, etc., the form of the verb in the passive voice is question word plus is or am or are or was or were plus past participle of the verb plus question mark. Remember, if the active voice sentence begins with who, then it is changed into by whom in the passive voice. Active voice, passive voice. Who taught you Hindi? By whom were you taught Hindi? Who wrote this book? By whom was this book written? When did you abuse her? When was she abused by you? How did you do this sum? How was this sum done by you? End of chapter. Click here to go to the next chapter.